How's it going, my true people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back on Pokemon Showdown for week 4 of the ABC, that's the Associated Battle Community. I am your coach of the Bowland Bovines, and currently we are 2-1 going into week 4. I do believe we beat Kenneth week 1, we beat Sebasaur week 2. Unfortunately, we lost to my man Just Kurt week 3. This, however, is week 4, and we're going up against Dreadful Dragonite and his Los Ampharos, or Los Ampharos, I believe it is actually. Los Ampharos. Super, super cool name. 2-Bit Crow did his graphics for it, I believe, and it's an awesome logo as well. Now, you might be looking at the screen thinking, hey, that's a Terrakion. You don't have a Terrakion on your ABC draft. No, I haven't made any trades. What I'm going to do very quickly is just go over the team that I expected him to bring, because this is one of the games where I had very set expectations of what I thought he would probably bring. And so I prepped pretty hard for those specific things. I didn't have a lot of time to prep this week, so shout out to Checkmate Ben, who went in call with me, and we did 2 sets-ish, if that. And then I had to do the rest, so it was a bit of a mess. Most of this, no mocks or anything for this week, but you know, we did get something done. And I was pretty confident of what I thought Dragonite would bring. So, thought it would either be a Z Terrakion, as it is only Z user. I should just quickly let you guys know his draft. So his draft is Tapu Fini, Z Terrakion, Metagross, Alolan Muk, Raikou, Mega Sceptile, Swellow, Incineroar, Cryogonal, Palossand, and Bastiodon. Now, I thought he would probably bring a Scarf Terrakion because it outspeeds Mega Lopunny, and it destroys Mega Lopunny's life with a close combat. Otherwise, this is Lopunny food. It does not want to take a high jump kick. So, I thought, you know, this is maybe going to be a Scarfer. But it could be Z to try and 2-hit KO something like the Slowbro that might otherwise switch in. It might catch me with a Stone Edge and then follow up with the Z Stone Edge to finish me off. I don't know if he would get the rolls on that, can't quite remember. But I thought that was possible. It might bring Zen Headbutt as coverage for the Amoonguss if I decide to wall it with Amoonguss. And Toxic just to spread status round. Maybe get the Claydol that otherwise kind of walled this thing. So I thought that was something like that was likely to come on the Terrakion. Next up with the Raikou, I expected Raikou to come as a kind of Life Orb powerhouse with a Volt Switch. It has a decent match against my team. Scarf wouldn't go amiss either on this mon. But I thought, you know, Life Orb, just to keep Volt Switching around, potentially wear down things like the Slowbro, the Hydreigon, these kind of things that would stay in on it and take a hit. Maybe get a Volt Switch, although obviously the regen on Slowbro is hard to... Well, Slowbro wouldn't stay on it, mind you. But then also coverage with like extra sensory for the Amoonguss that might switch into it, as Shadow Ball for the Claydol that might switch into it. I thought that was something along those lines was pretty likely. Next up, Metagross. Now, Dragonite loves this set. We're all aware of this at this point of the ABC. An Agility Weakness Policy set, and it's definitely a great Metagross set. I did think that he wanted to change things up. I know he's made trades and he wants to change his playstyle and stuff, so I thought we could see a defensive Metagross this week. However, Weakness Policy Metagross doesn't have a bad matchup against my team, to tell you the truth. So I did think it was a potential late game kind of setup option. I definitely wanted to be wary of how I played around this thing. If he brought it like that, get there in the end, I thought it would be a Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, Thunder Punch set. Thunder Punch just particularly for that Slowbro as coverage. Otherwise, Meteor Mash plus Zen Headbutt both resisted by the Slowbro, and I just keep scolding him down. I just stay in and click Scold a few times, and eventually I snag a burn or I take him out. I can regen around, slack off if I want to, so I really felt like the Thunder Punch was necessary on this set if he brought it. Next up we have Tapu Fini, leftover set with potential Moonblast, Surf, Nature's Madness, and Defog. Now, Surf or Nature's Madness I could see being interchangeable with Protect, because I did see this as his kind of Lopunny check, so potential leftovers with Protect could make it a 3-hit KO with like Return, for example, or if he switches in on a high jump kick, he can maybe take a high jump kick plus 2 returns, maybe with some Protect leftovers stall, maybe. Also seemed like his primary means of defog on his team. Looking back at his draft, his defog options are like Swellow, not a great defogger, Cryogonal, didn't have a great matchup against me, and this. So I thought if he has a defogger, it'll be this. And it was important for me to get rocks up because of that, but I'll get onto that in my side of the team builder. And then Mega Sceptile. Now, I thought when I was prepping for a special Mega Sceptile, but when I tried to look down Sceptile's move pool, I was like, wow, special Sceptile does not get a lot. So maybe it would be more likely to be physical. But regardless, I thought a pretty standard offensive Mega Sceptile would come to this game, hard-hitting, fast. Would have to run Timid for or Jolly for the Mega Lopunny, because otherwise we outspeed, which is really nice. But yeah, I thought some sort of offensive Sceptile, because I know he loves his Mega Sceptile. So, and then last but not least, the Incineroar. Now, the Incineroar doesn't have a great matchup against me. In fact, his match was pretty okay. Maybe less than okay, to be fair. However, he sniped this thing from me. I wanted it in the draft, so I thought there was the off chance he might bring the Incineroar just to troll me. The other thing that I thought pretty likely was that if the Metagross was going to be an agility set, then I thought he would probably need the Palossand for rocks, because his other rock setters are Terrakion and Bastiodon. Bastiodon does not like going up against Mega Lopunny or any number of things. But I thought either Palossand or Bastiodon would be also potential for this last slot if he didn't just want to troll me with the Incineroar. So let's move on to my team. And so here we can go straight into my team. Now this was our sweeper. This thing was supposed to clean up at the end of the game. I had to get some chip on stuff. And then Scully's back. Sweeper Scully is back. Should have got a few more kills last week, or at least one more kill last week. I don't know. I feel like not running speed boost last week by accident was really stupid. So this week we made sure we had speed boost, and this thing was supposed to come in late game and clean up with Sword Stance, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Throat Chop. Now I'm not gonna lie, if I just click SD for turn 1, barring Resist Berries and like Sash, I pretty much swept his team. To go through it, Tapu Fini dies to a +2 Poison Jab. Terrakion dies to a +2 Earthquake. Metagross dies to a +2 Earthquake. Alola Muck dies to a +2 Earthquake. Raikou dies to a +2 Earthquake. Mega Sceptile dies to a +2 Poison Jab. Swellow dies to a +2 Poison Jab. Incineroar dies to a +2 Earthquake. Cryogonal dies to a +2 Poison Jab. Palossand dies to a +2 Throat Chop. Bastiodon dies to a +2 Earthquake. Now Bastiodon, of course, has Sturdy. But looking at that team, then it was like, wow. If I just SD turn 1 and he's got no Sash or Resist Berries, I win. I just win. So this set was amazing. All I had to do was figure out what he had on certain things and wear them down. And if I could do that, then we're in business. Checkmate here could just sweep. And make sure I got an opportunity to SD on something that couldn't take me out, crucially. Next up we have Dread, our Claydol, of course named after Dreadful Dragonite, the man himself, because I sniped this thing from him. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I like Claydol in game, I like Claydol's design, whatever. I do not like it in competitive Pokemon. The more time I have spent with this thing trying to build it up, I dislike it. I don't think it's a good Pokemon. Nevertheless, his team, as you just heard, is like crazy ground weak. Crazy ground weak. So this is my only ground type on my draft. I have to try and exploit that ground problem. And shout out to Ben, because I was going to run either like a Scarf Earth Power or a Rock Polish Earth Power set. But Ben said, well, why do that? Just run Trick Room, Weakness Policy, and then you don't need to worry about the things that you don't outspeed with a Rock Polish. You can have loads of bulk to make sure you actually get your Weakness Policy popped and you don't just get O-code by something. And then you just still outspeed everything in Trick Room anyway. And I was like, damn, that is a very good point, Ben. So this was the set that we kind of cooked up together. In fact, this set, his suggestion was the Throat Chop for the Palossand. And then this set was entirely his suggestion with the Trick Room Weakness Policy. As I say, I was going to run Scarf or Rock Polish Weakness Policy, but he suggested the Trick Room. And then the move slots were mine, which is why there is an error here that the most eagle-eyed of you may have already noticed. But Earth Power was so spammable against this team. His only switch-ins to Earth Power were Swellow and Mega Sceptile, or his only immunities and resists. And both of those dropped to a HP Ice. Now, some of you may be thinking, but look, Claydol gets Ice Beam. It's right there. Why didn't you run Ice Beam? Because I'm an idiot. Because I forgot that it got Ice Beam. Originally, I was running Shadow Ball for the Palossand, and then I was like, how do I hit Mega Sceptile? Okay, why don't I just run Hidden Power Ice? Because Shadow Ball was a 2-hit KO on the Palossand anyway, if I remember correctly. So I might as well run HP Ice. Forgot that it got Ice Beam. But I did remember at the start of the battle, so when I got into the battle, I was like, Claydol gets Ice Beam. Why did I? And then I looked up the calcs, and basically, Hidden Power Ice still OHKOs Mega Sceptile. And it still 2-hit KOs a Palossand. So I was like, there's literally no difference in the rolls. We're fine. We'll find out if we were fine when we get into the battle. And Stone Edge for the... What is the Stone Edge for? The Tapu Fini? No, that wouldn't make sense. Earth Power would do more. Stone Edge for the Cryogonal, because the Cryogonal is very bulky on the special side. It can nuke me with an Ice Beam, and it's Levitate, so turn 1 in Trick Room, I could see the Cryogonal coming in to dodge the Earth Power and then trying to do bits to me. But with the weakness policy and the fact that we're running a minus speed nature, a +2 Stone Edge actually does kill the Cryogonal, so that's really, really awesome. Next up we have Pamela. Pamela the Mega Lopunny just has an amazing match against his team. Like I said, really his only switch in was the Finny, and that thing can get worn down, doesn't get any recovery beyond leftovers, so without a Wish Passer or Rest on it, which it can't do because of Misty Terrain, I can just nuke that thing a few times with a return and it's not coming back. So this is a fake out because I wanted to scout the Terrakion for potential Choice Scarf, and it would be good information there, and other potential Choice Scarfers that might want to square up to Mega Lopunny. So Fake Out was there for that, and also it's just nice priority and chip against the Mega Sceptile, which of course is faster if I needed it. Return just to kind of, as I say, 2-hit KO most things, and high jump kick as well for a similar reason. Then, because I didn't feel that we needed any coverage moves on this, yes, I could have run Ice Punch or something, I just ran Healing Wish, because what was really crucial is that, hey, maybe I could get Checkmate in twice. If something went wrong, let's say he had a Sash on something, or he had a Resist Berry on something, and I took more chip than I wanted to on Scolipede, well, then I can Healing Wish it back up, and we restart, and we go again with Checkmate. So that's why we had a Healing Wish there. And just, I always try to make sure my Mega Lopunny is a Limber as well, so that I can switch in and Mega Evolved on a Thunder Wave. And I get Paralyzed, which is really nice. I know it seems petty, but when its other abilities are Cute, Charm, and Klutz, you may as well make sure that you always have Limber every week. Next up we have Sean, Slowbro. This thing was just an absolute defensive wall. Meant to take on that Terrakion in essence. Just keep switching in on Terrakion and keep scaring it out with Scold. Slack off there for longevity so that if I wanted to scout for Z Terrakion, let's say he went for a Stone Edge turn 1, or a Z move turn 1, I don't really know. I can't really remember. Yeah, if I was in on this thing and I hadn't taken any damage, that's it. If I let something go down to Terrakion and then I brought in Slowbro, I could just slack off turn 1 against it and scout, and it'll either get scared out, which is fine, or if he pops his Z move, I can slack off the damage and then he can't 2-hit KO me. Thunder Wave to try and slow things down. The Mega Sceptile in particular would be really nice to slow that down. If I want to predict a switch into Mega Sceptile, then I do that. Ice Beam as well if I want to hard predict the switch into Mega Sceptile, but the Thunder Wave's a safer play because there's nothing I don't want to send Thunder Wave on his draft particularly. Speed control is awesome, so yeah, that's really why we have that. Then we have a Spadefamungus. This thing was supposed to hard counter the Mega Sceptile because I said I was expecting Special Mega Sceptile for some reason, not really sure why, but this thing just basically tanked hits from Special Mega Sceptile all day. Sludge Bombed it back, Stomping Tantrums into the Raikou, into the Terrakion, into the whatever else there is that I can Stomping Tantrum. All the ground weaknesses that he has, and Muck and stuff like that. So really crucially, you know, if I went for a Spore and he brought in, I don't know, Safety Goggles, Alolan Muck or something, then I can Stomping Tantrum that and do huge damage. So that was really, really nice. Giga Drain as well, just for recovery on there. The Tapu Fini, for example, I could drain it off there if it wanted to Nature's Madness me, say. And then we have Nico the Empoleon with the Chopal Berry. This thing was hard bait for the Terrakion. Basically, we guaranteed to live a banded close combat with our investment, and then Scold into Aqua Jet always killed, which is why you'll see this as a negative speed nature rather than a negative attack nature. I don't know if it always killed, but it pretty much always killed. So that's why we have this special attack investment as well. This was, as I say, just a hard lure for that Terrakion, because if it was Scarf Terrakion, I didn't want Pamela dealing with it, and he probably would think he could Oko me. So I could just stay in, click Skull, click Aqua Jet, bye bye Terrakion. Also my Stealth Rocker and my Defogger. Rocks would be nice in this game because, as I say, really Sash or Resist Berry is the main way to stop Checkmate. So breaking those Sashes with Stealth Rocks could be really useful. Not that I thought he would have Sash on anything, but that's enough of that. We'll see how it all gets on in the battle. So here we are in the battle, guys, and as you can see, he does bring pretty much exactly what we expected. The Palossand comes instead of the Incineroar. That was one of the other two things I thought could come for Rocks, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, this is weakness policy. The fact he's brought the Palossand, which doesn't have a super amazing matchup anyway. It doesn't have a terrible matchup, I guess, but like it just gets hardballed by Spadefamungus. I don't know, it doesn't have a terrible matchup actually, to be fair. But the fact that he's got both makes me think, well, that really takes Rock's pressure off. Metagross, so this is probably Agility Weakness Policy Metagross, and I want to play around it pretending that it is that. That's the more scary set, so you may as well play around the more scary set to begin with. Anyway, looking at his team, potential leads, the Palossand was potential lead for the Stealth Rock, the Metagross, if it was a Stealth Rock, was a potential lead, Volt Switch Raikou was a potential lead, and the Terrakion was a potential lead if it was a counter lead to my Mega Lopunny or a Stealth Rocker in itself. So I decided to lead Mega Lopunny because Fake Out Chip on the Raikou could be really nice. We probably 2-hit KO the Palossand with a return. It doesn't do that much to me, and Mega Lopunny can take a hit in terms of you never want to take more than one hit with it anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you get a little bit of chip on it. And as I said, we can maybe fake out the Metagross and then get momentum into the Slowbro. So decided to leave with Pamela here. And he does leave with Terrakion, and at this point I'm like, okay, name Tuxon Terrakion after King Nappy, of course, which is super cool. I thought he is almost definitely Scarf Terrakion if he's not just a Stealth Rock lead. Maybe he's just a banded lead and he wanted to put pressure on me from turn 1, which is not a bad idea. Maybe he thought I would lead Empoleon for rocks, and he thought, hey, I'm going to lead Terrakion and try and beat down that Empoleon turn 1. None of these are bad ideas, but I need to know if he is Scarf. So I just click the Fake Out here, because if he stays in, he's Scarf. If he switches out, he's not Scarf. And I'm pretty sure there from that he's not Scarf as he goes into Palossand. So I'm like, okay, well that's Terrakion narrowed down, almost certainly Z Terrakion now. Well, that's what I suspect, at least. So that's what's really, really nice about bringing the Fake Out on Lopunny, that you can kind of scout for those kind of things. Unless they're like Kurt and they bring an Inner Focus fighting type to lead with, then obviously you can't run that risk on something like a Sork. But we decided to stay in with, do we stay with Pamela here? I'm not quite sure, I can't even remember. Yeah, we stay in with Pamela here and just go for the return. We expect him to want to get his rocks up. And indeed he does, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe he thought he could scare me out, but firing off that return to begin with, even if he went out into the Tapu Fini, it would have done a lot. And now that I've seen that he's willing to stay in with this thing, I'm just going to click High Jump Kick and finish it off. I don't want to take any chip from it now he's got his rocks up. And I also went for the return in case he was teching Protect on the Palossand, which he didn't seem to be. So I was like, okay, that's a nice enough play. And he goes out into Tapu Fini. This seems to be his dedicated Lopunny check. Fine, he's got his rocks up with kind of Suicide Palossand. It makes sense. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, this would be a really, really great time to get Empoleon in. What do I need Lopunny for? Well, yeah, it outspeeds the Terrakion, but so does Scolipede. Now that I know he's not Scarf Terrakion, I don't need to worry about him outspeeding my Scolipede at +1. So I just need to get one boost and Terrakion can't revenge kill me. So I'm like, I don't think I need Lopunny anymore. I don't know what he's going to go for here. Probably a Moonblast and he's probably going to kill me. But let's just fire off a big return and we'll scout out what this Tapu Fini is. Then we can go Empoleon and we can get our rocks up. So we do decide to just go for this return. And we actually get the crit. And he decides to fire off a Nature's Madness. And he misses. That turn was complete BS. I felt so bad that I messaged in the chat at this point and said to Dragonite, look, I will click Fake Out this turn, you Nature's Madness again. Because I just didn't think it was fair that I had got a crit return and a miss on Nature's Madness. Now, he told me after the game that the crit did matter because he had EV'd the Tapu Fini to take 2 returns. I do 86 damage. I think it's 1.5 times. So can I do the maths? We'll see. You guys can probably see that, and I apologize. Let's just quickly do the maths, and then we'll see exactly, because he didn't know my Lopunny set, to be fair. 86 divided by 1.5. Yeah, we do 57%, so I'm not sure that we didn't 2-hit KO anyway, to be honest, but I don't know. It is crit 1.5? I don't know. So, anyway, we might have 2-hit KO'd anyway. He told me after the game that he didn't think we did. He thought he'd EV'd his thing, but I'm not sure. Regardless, the crit plus miss was just too much for me. I didn't like it. So we do just stay in and we do just Fake Out here, allowing him to get his Nature's Madness off. I thought that was the fairest way to do it. I don't do that in every game, but that was just like too much. Dreadful Dragonite is such a good friend of mine. It's not that big of a game in terms of it's not a playoff game, so I just didn't think it was fair. And we go out to Nico here because the worst you can do is Nature's Madness me, and Nico is pretty unnecessary at this point anyway. All I want is to get my rocks up. So we just fire off the rocks. No, we fire off a Defog. Sorry, I want to get the Defog off because I don't want my Scolipede having to take a necessary chip and not being able to get an SD off. So we Defog and go out into Claydol immediately on this thing because the fact he's brought this in on Empoleon suggests to me that it is a Thunder Punch set, probably an agility set, because otherwise, how do you hit Empoleon, right? You got to be like Thunder Punch and agility. So I'm like, okay, we'll go straight out into Claydol, and if he's not an agility set, we just hard wall him. And if he is an agility set, well, he's probably taking Thunder Punch, and then we hard wall him anyway. Or if he's not an agility set and he goes for an Ice Punch, he pops our weakness policy. He reveals to be an agility set, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm just going to click Trick Room anyway, as he does reveal he's teching the Ice Punch. So I don't know what move he was missing on there, but that wasn't what I expected, to be honest. But it worked even better for me because we took less than 50%. And now we're in the Trick Room with that weakness policy popped, and Dreadful Dragonite is going to put in the work against Dreadful Dragonite. I guess it's Dreadful Claydol, not Dreadful Dragonite, but either way. He goes out into the Tapu Fini. I thought he would double here into the Sceptile, but he doesn't. We go for big Earth Power, and here I click the HP Ice, and he doesn't Mega Evolve. Now, this isn't cheating. Usually in most leagues, you have to Mega Evolve first turn, but Dread actually made a great play here. He thought ahead and thought, well, I don't have to Mega Evolve first turn of the ABC, so I'm not going to do that, and then I have more chance of living. Had I had Ice Beam, it was a guaranteed Oko. But I didn't have Ice Beam. However, I'm okay with how this turned out, because what this essentially means is that he lives that because of his great play, and he's able to fire off a Leaf Blade, killing me. But what that means is that I can now bring in Scolipede. There's one turn left of Trick Room. I guarantee to underspeed a Mega Sceptile and a regular Sceptile, depending on his investment, because he might have made his investments for a Mega Sceptile. So I'm thinking, oh, there's a chance I might underspeed. He might stay not Mega Evolved to try and underspeed me. Who knows? Regardless, I know that I can take any one hit from this thing, and all he has left is a Sceptile, which definitely dies to a Poison Jab, a Terrakia, which dies to an Earthquake, and a Raikou that dies to an Earthquake. So I'm thinking, right, all I've got to do is SD and I win. He can't kill me with any one move. He can't be Scarf Sceptile because it's a Mega Sceptile. So as long as I get my speed boost off and he doesn't crit me, I win, right? So we do fire off the Swords Dance here, and he does Mega Evolve, meaning he guarantees stat speeders, and he fires off a Swords Dance himself. I think he probably forgot that Scolipede gets speed boost, which is fair enough, and he probably thought, well, hey, look, he's going to underspeed me in Trick Room anyway. If I somehow live any move, if he chokes or something, I might as well click SD, and then I can do even more damage after the Trick Room ends. So I completely understand that play, because I'm assuming he forgot about speed boost. Of course, what it actually meant is that I got free setup on my Scolipede. And now I outspeed because of speed boost, and I can fire off a Poison Jab. That thing goes down. And now the only way I don't just sweep here is Resist Berries or Sash. Now this is a potential problem. People are saying in the chat this has got to be Shuka Raikou. I did say it could be Sash Raikou. I didn't expect Shuka Raikou, but I thought Sash Raikou was a very real possibility. Extra Sensory hit quite a few things on my team, like the Lopunny that otherwise might outspeed it and destroy it. So I thought, yeah, Sash is a potential thing. At this point, that was the only thing that could stop me, but I knew that Scolipede lived even in an Extra Sensory here, so his best chance would be a Thunderbolt Para, and he does turn out to be Sash, and he does fire off the Thunderbolt. However, he doesn't get the Para, thank goodness, so there's not going to be any Para hacks involved, and I can Earthquake. So now, unless he's Shuka Terrakion, in which case he still loses to Lopunny after, or Sash Terrakion, in which case he still loses to Lopunny after, I can fire off this +2 Z Earthquake and kill him. And we know that we've won the game at this point. Indeed, Tuxon's the Terrakion does go down. Checkmate does get the sweep again, which now makes our Scolipede 9-1, I believe, in 4 weeks. And 1 week I didn't even bring it with speed boost. So Scolipede is just going in. Like, it is the as of the time I'm recording this, it is the #1 Pokemon in the whole league across both divisions. Bear in mind, there's 12 coaches in each division. That's a 24-man league. Scolipede is currently sitting at #1, which is incredible. I've never had that before, so I'm super, super excited about that. Scolipede proving, like I said in that draft analysis video, that Scolipede is not just a hazard stack mon. It can be a set of sweeper, and I know that that is not some grand revelation. I know that plenty of people have used it this way before. However, whenever I draft it, people are like, oh, it's just hazard stack. And I'm like, no, it's not just... I think draft makes you think in a certain way. You think like, okay, I have 11 Pokemon on my draft. Which ones can do T-Spikes? Which ones can do Spikes? That's their niche. But, like, that's not all they can do. You know, they can do more than that, right? So, I'm getting sidetracked. But, that's just how I feel about some things, and I really feel like Scolipede is getting to prove its worth here. People were definitely saying to me that in a league where Speed Pass was banned, it was overpriced, because one of its main niches is, hey, you can get Speed Boost stuff and you can Baton Pass it into something. But it can do so much more. I don't think it was overpriced at all. I'm super pleased with Checkmate the Scolipede, being at 9-1. The only thing that looks likely to catch it is possibly the one guy's Landorus has a chance. He hasn't played yet this week. But it's looking likely that at the end of week 4, Scolipede will be the MVP. We are now 3-1. Your Bowland Bovines are 3-1, which is really nice. Our only loss being to the Season 1 champion. I feel super good about this draft. Loads of people are like, you have too many water types. You have this, you have that. And I agree, and I really appreciate their feedback. However, it just seems to be working. Like, it just seems to be clicking for whatever reason. I think that offensive core, Hydreigon, Megalophony, Scolipede, whatever, is just really hard to deal with. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep plowing on. Hopefully we can make playoffs in the ABC. That would be incredible. I think we will, and I want to. Now that we've got to a semi-final in the LTC, I'm sure you guys have seen that by now, I want to keep going. In fact, we've got to a final in the LTC. I don't know if you'd have seen that yet, though, so I might have to bleep that bit. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I want to keep pushing on and try and make more playoffs games. So, that's that. Next week, we go up against my man Blake Trout. We just played him in the PEBA and his Milstraten Swanners. That was a really good game against him last time. I know that he felt really discouraged after that game and was really upset after that game with the way he played. His draft is very scary in the ABC, so it is by no means going to be an easy game at all, just because we won last time. There's no easy games in this league, and Blake is certainly not one of them, so it's going to be a tough game. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I hope you guys are hyped for the ABC being back and the rest of the season. I know I am. That's enough from me. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time. Oh, wait, no, I won't. I forgot to say. Maybe I'll put this somewhere else in the video. If I remember, this might pop up somewhere else in the video. In which case, I should do a little bit of a thing, like it might pop up, like, hey guys, just interrupting. But I forgot to say, check out Dreadful Dragonite's channel. I believe he's uploading the ABC games. I think. Maybe. Maybe he's not, actually. I don't know, but he uploads Draft League games, he uploads Nuzlocke. He's one of my favourite people in this community, one of my best friends in this community. I have so much time for Dreadful Dragonite. Honestly, just one of the nicest guys around. I really like to wind him up, and I like to troll him a lot. But that's just because I just think he's such a cool guy, and I really just enjoy having a laugh with him. So definitely make sure, if it's not there, shout at me to link his channel in the description and go check out his channel. But then, if this is the end, then this is the end. If not, I'm going to let myself carry on talking. I don't know how to end this.